FSB. FSB.
Good morning. Welcome to the FSB National webinar to propel your business, your small business with TikTok. I'm Katie Smythe and I'm the Development Manager for Lancashire and Cumbria. Thank you so much for joining us today. I will shortly be handing over to our guest speaker, who will deliver a presentation before we open to questions. Please use the questions to panelists button to send over your questions, and we will endeavour to answer as many as possible. Today's session will be recorded and shortly available on our on-demand page on the FSB website in case you want to watch it again. If you aren't an FSB member, we'd love to have the opportunity to speak to you further about the benefits of joining. So please do visit our website, which is www.fsb.org.uk, to book a meeting with our membership advisor. So now it's time for the main event. Ready for a speaker who's as engaging as he is savvy? Say howdy to Todd, Director of Spaghetti Agency and knowledgeable Livewire. With more energy than a triple espresso, Todd is an accomplished trainer and speaker with an inspirational style. He's on a mission to cut through the digital noise and make marketing strategies accessible and exciting for everyone. So without further ado, over to you, Todd.
Morning. How are you? Thank you for joining us on this webinar. I'm going to be talking about TikTok this morning, which is something I'm really quite excited about. If you're not into the idea of doing TikTok, you'll still get some really good value from this, because TikTok is absolutely changing how social media is being used, it's being developed, and how your timelines are being formulated. So even if you're at the end of this webinar not quite keen on TikTok and you think maybe it's not really for me, lots of these things are going to definitely inform how you do content elsewhere as well, especially Instagram and Facebook and even LinkedIn. I don't know whether you've spotted this recently on LinkedIn. You can now swipe up on videos, which feels very TikTok-esque. So let's get into this webinar. As any questions that you've got, please put them into the Q&A. And the team at FSB will do a good job of either giving those to me at the end, or I will try and answer some as we come through. So just so you know, my setup here, I've got my slides there. So if I look over there, I'm not ignoring you, I'm just looking over here, and I've got the Q&A up there now as well, so that I can keep an eye on it. So if there are any questions that I feel are useful to answer straight away, then I will. So keep the questions coming. Right, here we go. Hopefully you can now all see my screen, and we'll get going. So let's go there. In 2020, something pretty serious happened. I think you're all very aware what that was. It was this, and it changed a lot of how we view the world. It changed Zoom forever. I wish I'd had shares in Zoom and probably toilet roll in 2020. But it wasn't just that dramatically changed in 2020. It was TikTok. TikTok had a very big shift in 2020 because the world had less to do and more people were online. And of course, lots of us homeschooled our children. Those of you that are business owners that had children during that time will know that that was challenging, trying to run a business and look after your children. Now, if you had young teenagers, then you were probably introduced to TikTok in 2020. TikTok saw a huge spike in user acquisition and use over that period of time, and it hasn't dropped since. TikTok's now almost one of the most popular social media channels, and it's not just for young people. I say this because this is what I thought TikTok was before 2020. Apparently these two young ladies are very famous. I still don't know who they are. My team do, but it isn't just about that. I thought it was about time I checked it out. So much like most people, I was a bit late than 2020. It was about 2021. I signed up to see what it was all about. And I posted a video. Without going into too much detail, 2.5 years ago, I stopped drinking alcohol, and I wanted somewhere to sort of document it and share my journey and story. And I thought, what better place than somewhere completely removed from LinkedIn and Facebook than TikTok? And I'll give it a go and trial it out. So I joined TikTok and I posted a video, as you can see from the top of that screen, about habit hacking, and I chucked it on there. And if I'm honest, I forgot. How many times have you started a new hobby and thought, right, I'm going to do something, and then you forget? That's what happened to me. So then I remembered I had the video, I checked the video, and it had 3,000 views, which I thought was not bad considering I just joined TikTok. I had no followers and really no interest in the channel, if I'm honest. And I hadn't really spent much time on there. So I was like, well, that's interesting. Is this any good? I asked my partner, Joe, is this good engagement or not? And she went, yeah, that's pretty good. You know, most businesses, most brand new accounts get a couple of hundred views. I might cover that later on, why that's the case. So I think I got lucky, if I'm honest. But I did apply everything I know about social media to TikTok. And without giving you the long, drawn out story, I've been doing digital marketing now for 10 years. And I did kind of accidentally apply most of my knowledge about digital marketing, content, and video into that video. And it worked. So I dug into what had worked on that particular video. And today, this webinar is essentially what I found. It's the inner workings and the framework from it. And that's what I'm going to share with you. So I'm just checking the questions. Someone said they were on a webinar by the CIA. I do feel that's slightly underqualified now. You said that they're hugely concerned about TikTok and the Chinese. Yeah, I do have views on that. I'm not sure I'll share that on this webinar, but there is different views on that, depending on who you listen to, East or West, mostly. To Corinda's question, what strategies can you use? I'm going to go through that right now. So let's get into it. Firstly, I found this is part of TikTok. You will see people doing dances on TikTok. You'll be very grateful to know I'm not about to teach you how to do that. There is actually a lot more to TikTok than dances and lip syncing and other stuff, but you will see that content on there. So I want to share with you this morning this little system. So this is being recorded, but if you want to just take a screenshot of that, that's what I'm going to cover this morning. These are kind of 8 areas that I believe have helped me do quite well on TikTok. I've gone viral a couple of times. I've had global and national press. I've been in the Sun. Put your views aside from the Sun for one moment. I actually got national press, a double page spread with me and my partner and story, which they found us via TikTok. So it's a very powerful platform to get exposure, PR, those sorts of things. And I will be talking about the algorithm throughout that as well. So that question that's just come in there, I will be covering that in a second. So those are the areas. I'm going to go through those. I'm going to make sure I leave enough time at the end for questions. So I've got about 40 minutes now where we'll go through these. We'll try not to go too fast. Let's get into it. So I'm not going to cover exactly what SEO is, but search engine optimization. So if you go to the internet and you search for something, search engine optimization can help you appear higher up in Google. Many people that own a website for the business will understand that SEO is a good thing to have. But TikTok's actually driven by SEO as well. And this was something I realized very early on, that the words you use in your voice, and even on the voiceover, and on the captions, and on the actual description of the video can help your video rank on the algorithm on TikTok. So if you want to get found on TikTok, then you need to think about it in relation to a search engine, because TikTok is a little bit like a search engine. So the words that you say and type actually matter a lot. So if you've ever gone into your website and written a blog, then you'll know that the title of your blog really matters. And you'll know that the words you put on your pages of your website really do matter. Because if you want to get found on the search engines, your website needs to appear for those search terms. TikTok is very, very similar, because the words and the phrases that you're using, as I've just said, are used to serve the content. So what that means is, within the algorithm, if you watch a video about dog grooming, you are highly likely to have another video about dog grooming very, very quickly. And if you keep consuming that content, TikTok will give you more of that content, because the algorithm is trying to work out how to keep you there forever. It's a very, very good channel for keeping you there, doom scrolling, or just basically watching stuff that is entertaining you and keeping you amused. So they're constantly, and I say the app, the algorithm, the system is constantly trying to work out, how can we keep this person's attention? How can we keep them here? So if you create content that keeps people there, and content that matches in terms of style and wording that everyone else is using, you will get to reach more people. So the SEO kind of approach appeals to the video, so the words that you use, the captions or the subtitles. So if you're saying the right things, it'll type the right things on the screen. and the actual caption or the post description that you use at the end as well. So always have in mind, what are people searching for? What are the trending words? What are the types of things that people always ask you? A really simple way to think about SEO is when someone's asking you about your business, what language do they use? That's usually a good pointer for SEO. I will answer that question about trolls at the end as well, because it's a really good question. I get asked it a lot. Hashtags also matter as well. Usual rules apply here. Well, I say the most modern usual rules apply. 3 to 5 hashtags, don't go crazy. Research the hashtags though. So on my particular channel, I use Sober TikTok, Sober Talk, and Sober Curious. Those are the hashtags that work quite well for me. When I went viral, several of my videos were at the top of those timelines, and there were 1.2 billion videos in one of those channels. So you really can reach a huge audience with the right hashtags. So much like on your other channels, I'm not going to go into it in too much detail now, but research the hashtags just by searching TikTok, put a hashtag in, have a guess, or look at creators that you already know in your industry, people that are doing well, maybe a business that does well on there, and just have a look at the hashtags they're using and see what the volume is on there. For me, this has really changed my view on social, really, is that TikTok is like Google. It's Nicole that works in my social team. She uses TikTok to search for products, because what you'll get is not the creator of the product, you'll get people reviewing the product. So there's a new generation now using social media to search for products, to get information back from those products. So think of TikTok like a search engine. Think of it like YouTube. A lot of people use YouTube because they know they're going to appear there because it's a search engine. So at the moment, I haven't seen Google indexing TikTok. Might be an American Chinese thing, going back to that comment from earlier. But the YouTube Shorts, which you can apply a lot of this information from today to, YouTube Shorts will appear in the algorithm on Google as well. So think about the content you put out there. How would people search for the answers that I'm giving them? And always think about your customers in that respect. What questions do they ask me? What are my answers? They usually create great content. So just like you would on Google, you can search. If you search Google, I think this is actually a screenshot from TikTok, you can see it auto completes. This gives you a really good idea what people are actually looking for. So I've just used a very generic term there, put weight loss in. You can see all the different types of auto completed suggestions there. Those are great titles. Those are great topics. Those are great words to use. So there's an element of research here. I got lucky on my first video, but since then I started searching. What are people actually looking for in this app? And the app literally tells you. You can also use tools like answerthepublic.com, which is now a paid tool. It used to be free, but very, very good at giving you what people are looking for. And you can use TikTok and Google as well, just to give you an idea how people search. Don't spend too long on this. Unless you're a geek like me, you might want to spend the afternoon doing it, but it gives you an idea how people are searching. The thing about TikTok that's different in terms of the algorithm is the videos you watch change what you see next. Now, you will be seeing this playing out in social media elsewhere, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, and even LinkedIn. The algorithm, the timeline is changing based on your activity because it wants to keep you there. So the videos that you watch inform the videos you'll next get. That's the same for your audience or your potential audience. So think about what's already doing well on the internet, what people are already talking about. How can you create content around that? It's probably not FSB appropriate, so I won't mention it, but there's a certain meme at the moment trending on the internet. Jenny, who's organized this, is now wincing in a seat. Don't worry, Jenny, I'm not going to mention it. It's not a PC meme, but it's gone absolutely globally viral. People who are using that meme or the words or the hashtag from that are seeing a lift in their content from it, but it's probably not suitable to most businesses. No idea why she is there or this person, but they will appear occasionally when you're on TikTok. Few things just to consider that you need to have to get TikTok working. I think you need a thing. You need a niche and a thing. So you need to think about, well, what are we sharing? What do you do in your business, and what's the niche within that, and what's the thing that you do? So on my TikTok channel, which is totally removed from my marketing business, my thing is about sobriety and giving up drinking, but it's actually my journey of it and the things I've learned through it. And then I always have a sign off at the end where I encourage people to tell me how long they've been sober for. And that's my thing, and that's what keeps people coming back. And even when I don't ask people to do that, they actually still comment at the end, I'm 300 days sober, blah, blah, blah. So having something that people expect and can get used to is a really good way of developing good content. So people like to know what's coming up. It's that familiarity. So having a niche and a thing is really quite powerful. So like slide down there. Your TikTok views will come from other people talking about content that lots of other people are already talking about. So going back to that point I raised just now, if something's already trending on the internet, how can you talk about it? If something's happening, like if you're in local government, you will be talking about politics at the moment, right? You'll be talking about the elections, a high trending topic. If you're in sport, you'll be talking about the Euro 2024. If you're in radio, maybe you're going to be talking about Gary Lineker today, who's in trouble. Again, looking at the kind of things that are trending, people are already talking about, how can you speak to that message? Obviously, you've got to think about your brand and all these things. That's up to you to work out. But how can you speak to that content? Because if it's already popular on the internet, it's likely that your video will get a huge boost because of it. Because TikTok knows that's keeping people engaged. So more people that create content around it, the more people will stay on TikTok, and it will keep its users on there, which is what it needs to do for its advertisers. And that's the business model behind TikTok. I just want to quickly talk about this guy before I get onto the kind of scripts and stuff. When I talk about having a thing and having something that people are useful to, so you've got two things here. You've got trends, things that most people are looking at the moment, but then you've got a thing that you do. This guy does yoga on TikTok, and he understands the algorithm. I'm not going to share his video. Again, it's not very FSB appropriate, but he swears immediately as he starts his videos, and he gets people to meditate. He gets people to stop scrolling, which is kind of ironic, but helps TikTok, and does a meditation with them. And the way he gets their attention is very powerful and rather amusing, and very much on style the way I normally speak when I'm on my own webinars. It's just a really interesting way of looking at TikTok. So he gets people to stop scrolling. There's also this guy who spends most of his time debunking other people's TikTok videos around health, wellness. He's a doctor. He's actually been on the TV since. He's got a lot of exposure, and he does have a business, so it's helping his business too. But both of these guys have got a thing. They've got a certain style of video. They've got an approach to content that is working for them, and they've developed it, pretty much stayed with it all the way through. If you think about any of your favorite TV shows, you think about anything you're watching on Netflix, they very much start, beginning and end all the same, don't they? They all do have the same sort of setup, and that's what we like as humans. We like things to feel familiar. So think about that with your videos. I think one of the big mistakes of content creation from small businesses is they're constantly trying new things. It's not a mistake in its own right, but if you keep trying new things, you never get that consistency. You never get that kind of formulaic approach. It's harder to create content. Your audience don't recognize it, and it doesn't help in the long run. So test it, get something that works, and stick with it. Let's talk about having a bit of a script for your content, because I think having a script to your videos helps you create good videos. And when I say a script, I'm not saying you need a whole script that you read word for word. I've tried auto cue. It's very difficult. I marvel at people on TV that can read on auto cue. That's not what I'm about to tell you to do. I think what we need to do is pick a topic or a niche or a theme for our video, and then we need to have a bit of a script to it. And I like to think of a script as just bullet points, really. So I'm going to speak about this one particular topic. I'm going to cover these three things, and my call to action is this. And that's it. I find it just keeps me on track. TikTok is a super quick channel. You need to get people's attention within the first few seconds, or your videos just won't survive. So having a really, really good start with a great topic, and then maybe three things you'll cover, less if you can, and then a simple call to action, which could just be please comment below, which is what mine are, keeps you on track, saves you waffling, keeps you on point, which you really need to do with TikTok. It's actually quite hard to do short videos, because we end up filling the time with pointless words, and TikTok just literally will destroy you for doing that. You won't get decent views for that at all. So a couple of do's and don'ts here. Let's see if this works. So never start with something like, hey guys, I thought I'd just jump on here today. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about you at all. Nobody cares about your business. They're just there scrolling through TikTok, wasting some time, amusing themselves. Maybe they're learning some stuff. They're waiting for a bus. They're in the middle of a meeting. They're bored. They're just scrolling through. They really don't care about you. I know that's harsh to say, but it keeps me level, keeps me focused on my content. No one cares about me. They only care about the content. So I never start with me. I never say, maybe on the odd occasion I've said I'm 1,000 days sober because I reached that milestone recently. That was more of a pattern interrupt to get people's attention. And guess what? It didn't work. So one of my less performing videos recently. So try and never to start with, hey guys, or I put once upon a time, that might actually work, but never start with a long drawn out story from the beginning. Always start with a pattern interrupt, attention grabbing, maybe controversial thing. I don't like the Daily Mail, but they do great headlines. They get your attention, and it's that you've got to do. I ran a workshop over here in Warwickshire a couple of weeks ago, and there was a journalist there. She was a freelance journalist, and she said, you know, what you're saying to me sounds very much like journalism. You need a really great headline, and then you need the first bit of bold text underneath where it sort of gives you a bit more information, and then a little bit more and a little bit more. It's like, yeah, it's the waterfall effect. You get their attention, and then they waterfall down the page, and that's exactly what you need to do with video content. And as I just said, don't start with anything about you either. Definitely focus on a few things within a niche. If you go too broad, it's not right for people. They're on a short form video content when they want sound bites. So don't cover the world, cover a corner of your village. You know, get really, really niche around it. Have something specific. And if you can get it to something that most people are talking about, it's trending, it's popular at the moment, even better. But you really need to focus on things. So if you are a let's say you're a bakery, you wouldn't just talk about baking as a whole. You'd pick the cherry tarts and you talk about, you know, the particular recipe around those and what makes a great cherry tart. You'd go right into that detail instead, rather than go too broad. So for example, you wouldn't talk about nutrition or bloating. You would say, here's 3 foods you're eating that might cause you to bloat in the evening. Because if people are bloating, especially in the evening, they're going to want to know, oh my God, are the 3 foods listed in here some of the foods I eat? And they'll be more likely to listen to your video and continue scrolling. So the beginning of your video, or the hook, which I'm coming to in a minute, makes or breaks your videos. So let's talk about it. If you learn nothing else from today's webinar, because I appreciate I'm giving you a lot of information, please take this on board. The hook, the first 3 or 4 seconds of your video, the first words that come out of your mouth, make or break your video. Someone asked a question about the algorithm just now. The way we think the algorithm works, although TikTok are pretty open about telling us how it works, is that the video content you create is shown to a couple of hundred people first. So if you have used TikTok and you've heard of 200 view jail, that's what they're talking about. What TikTok algorithm does is that it gives your video to 200 people, maybe from your audience, maybe from your following, we're not quite sure. And it tests it. And if a decent percentage of those 200 people actually stay and watch more than a few seconds, it will be released to a wider audience. And then that audience has the same test. And then it will be released to a wider audience. And then that audience has a good test. So if you get a really good video with a great hook, you're likely to reach more people. So the hook is the very beginning of the video, but it needs to have negative language in it sometimes, emotional language, trending words and topics, things like, have you ever thought about? If you wanted to know how to do X, here's how you do it. You want to say right at the start of the video exactly what you're going to cover. So my most viral videos, about 2 million views now, I actually shared the video where I last had a binge night drinking. And I think there's 2 reasons why that worked. The first words that came out of my mouth is, here was me living my best life until it all went wrong. And it actually shows a video where I sort of, not blackout, but I alluded to the fact that I eventually did. And that was in the first sort of 5 or 6 seconds of the video. And it sort of started a story in the middle of a story, and people were intrigued. What happens next? What happened to him? And I think the thing that really made that video work is I shared a video of me from someone's smartphone at a pub where I did a shot and I bent down and I blacked the screen out for a second. And I think the drama of it made people think, what's going to happen next? What's going on next? And also your screen rarely goes black on the internet. So it kept people's attention. It was the hook that got that video to people. And then I kept it short and sweet. People liked the video and they commented and off it went on its own right. But it's the hook at the beginning that gets your attention. So this is a really clever advert. Like, this guy comes on the screen, spits his coffee in the sink. I've also seen an advert recently where someone drinks a drink of coffee and slams his cup on the floor and it smashes within a few seconds. So the hook doesn't have to be the words you say, it could just be the creative that you use as well. And it doesn't stop there. You've then got to keep their attention throughout the video. So every 10, 12, 15 seconds, you need to get them back in again. So TikTok doesn't really work that well if you just do a video and talk for a minute and a half. It rarely does very well if you do that. There are rules outside of that, but generally speaking, you want to keep them attention all the way through. Much of the content on TikTok that works really well, they're changing the backgrounds, they're changing the angle. Some creators even change their outfit every 10 seconds. But that's another level of TikTok creation that I'm not going to cover today. But keeping them entertained and interested through the videos is important. But the hook, the first 3, 4, 5 seconds is the key to going viral or at least reaching a wider audience. Let's talk about the content next. Definitely share kind of easy to understand content and keep it short and sharp. I think I've shared that point enough in here. So keep it short and sharp. Like this particular video from Pure Gym, it says on the front of the screen, beginner's leg day. So that's their audience. Most people that go to the gym are beginners, let's be fair, and they need a little bit of extra help. And that's their audience. That's what they're trying to attract new people to the gym. I suspect once you're in the gym, you're not that interested in the content. That's fine because you're a customer and it probably works quite well for their sales pipeline. Use lots of short videos. So if you've got maybe a complicated thing to do or to explain or something with a few moving parts, create 3 or 4 short videos. You can link them into a series if you want to, but try not to cover it all in one video, because the attention on videos, and I'm very grateful that most of you are still here 26 minutes after the webinar, the attention on video drops massively unless you keep people engaged and entertained. It's a challenging job to do. So you're better off just sticking to one thing in a short video and then doing one thing in another video. If your video views are here and then they drop like this and never come back, it will affect your future views. It will affect your success on TikTok, and all of your hard work will go to waste. So you're better off focusing. I've got to keep their attention. I've got to keep them on this video for more than a few seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, or 50% of my video. I would definitely use kind of big text and images as well. You can do all of the editing you're ever going to need in a TikTok app. There are other apps, there's CapCut, there's iMovie on Mac if you're a Mac user. There's loads of other apps, but TikTok have done a great job of building an app where you can edit the ums and ahs out, make the voice louder, add music, captions and everything. It's all built into the app. I think you actually get rewarded for using their stuff rather than someone else's stuff as well. You've probably already heard that you shouldn't be sharing Instagram videos to TikTok and vice versa because they don't like each other. Don't know how true that is, but it's certainly seen lower views if I've copied and pasted videos across the platforms. That use all the editing stuff within the videos. Having text at the beginning of the video enables people to sort of read that. Some people are auditory, some people are visual. Try and appeal to different people's styles. Some people watch the video with the sound off, so consider having text on the screen as well. I generally sum up the video at the end as well if I can, in a short, sharp way. If people have reached to the end, give them a bit of a summary. And I would definitely use text on the cover as well. So when you finish your video, you get an ability to put in some text and some hashtags. Definitely think about SEO there, right? Like I said at the beginning. And then you get to change your thumbnail, your cover photo. Pick a cover photo that's got text on it where they can read. Someone scrolling through your profile, they'll have a look at your other videos, and all they can see is a still video and text. So you'll probably notice this if you go to some famous people's Instagram. The captions are often selected. So they select a video still with a certain caption in it. It's usually quite a shocking caption or emotive or a negative keywords in there, something that's going to get your attention. Again, I don't like the Daily Mail. The way they write titles gets your attention. So I would never say this normally, but be more like the Daily Mail. And I would absolutely add subtitles. So they're called captions in TikTok. 2 reasons why you want captions on there. It's automatically created. You might want to check them. Sometimes it spells things wrong. It is an AI tool after all. But there's 2 reasons you need captions on there. One, people watch videos with the sound off. I don't know what the percentage is on TikTok, but on other social media channels, it's high, 50, 60% of people watch videos with no sound. So captions are really, really important. So one reason is people watch video with the sound off. The second reason is the words that appear on the screen help the algorithm work out what that video is about. It's getting cleverer. It can hear it, it can listen to it. I'm sure you've all played with ChatGPT and all these other AI tools. You can speak to them now. The language models are getting better and better and better. But why make it hard for itself? Give it a bit of a leg up. So I find captions work really well for those 2 reasons. I often get asked questions about the sound. I'm just going to answer Joe's question. I'll answer that now. Actually, the business case. Social media is rarely about direct leads in. It's always about awareness and marketing. It's top of the sales funnel. So if you want to be seen out there on the internet, you want to be seen and known well, then create great content. There is plenty of business examples out there where they've dominated on TikTok, and then eventually people have found their business and then they've inquired. The business case that I can kind of prove with my channel, I have no business from my sobriety thing. It's just for journaling, and I get asked all the time if I can be a sobriety coach from people. So if I was a sobriety coach, and that is a real thing, I would have had several hundred leads by now, and I don't even have a business, so I've never even promoted it. So I've actually got businesses that leads for a business I don't even own. So there's definitely a business case out there, but all I've done is gone out and created value for these people. Let's talk very briefly about sounds, because this is a contested topic. You can add music to TikTok. This is one of the reasons why you can't share TikTok videos to Instagram, by the way, because the music licenses are different. But there are trending sounds. So if you pick a track that is trending, that's got lots and lots of views, that can help. You can just Google this, trending sounds on TikTok, and it will tell you. That can help your videos get more views, because people will listen to or watch a video with a certain sound, and the algorithm might match more content that's similar to it. You can also just go to the timeline and find all the videos using that sound. I actually used a famous Canadian rapper's song for my most trending video, and he did a duet with the video because he scrolled through and found everyone that used his video. His music was about alcohol, and I'd use it, and it matched, which is my second point on there. It matched the video kind of context, what I was talking about. He loved it so much, he created a duet with it, and he's got, I don't know how many millions of followers, but that generated a few thousand views as well. No more than my organic stuff did, by the way. It wasn't, I didn't go viral because of him. He joined it quite late, but the video sound matched it. So trending audio can help you reach more people. I'd also be looking at what music matches what you're talking about as well. There's quite a few content creators I follow that just use the same music in the background because it's part of the theme. It's what people expect. Or you could use no sound, no music at all, and just use your voice. And TikTok is constantly changing, like all of the social media channels. And at the moment, there is a thought that actually just straightforward video, no editing, no filters, no lighting, no clever stuff at all, no music, no nothing, just voice, is starting to be more of a thing. The trending stuff on the internet I see most of the time is not high quality stuff. It's real life stuff. I think, especially in the dawn of AI, we're very skeptical now about highly edited things. We've always been skeptical about highly branded marketing. That's why influencers tend to get a good wage for promoting stuff, because it's real life. And in the everyday life, you look at Amazon reviews and Google reviews before you buy from people. You're interested in the real world. So TikTok content that's not overly complicated, highly edited, with loads of music on, might just be the way forward. And the good news is it takes far less time to create them when you do that. Angela's question, which I'm just going to answer now: can you do all the editing on a laptop? You can do it on a laptop, Angela, but it's much easier in the app. Much easier. And you can edit the captions, Tabitha, when you do them. I'll scroll back through some of those in a little while. Let's have a look. Where are we now? Yeah, there. Captions. The other thing I want to talk about now is engagement. I think this has really helped my videos. So alongside having a bit of a strategy to it and a framework and a good hook and all those types of things, engaging in content similar to the content that you are creating, so other people's content, but also engaging with your audience when you get them, and you will get them a lot quicker than the other channels, really helps your videos. So my call to action on my videos on my TikTok is, let me know below what you think, or how many days sober are you? Let me know in the comments. I literally tell them, type "I'm still sober" in the comments, and people just do as they're told. It generates more engagement, which of course shows TikTok my video is interesting. And this isn't about tricking the algorithm. This is about genuinely getting engagement from people. I had a bit of a break from TikTok actually recently, like 3 or 4 weeks, really busy here. And it just takes a bit of time when you start getting into it. And of course, when you start talking and teaching TikTok, you kind of got to make a bit of an effort with your videos. So I sort of had a bit of a break with it, but I went back last night, did a video, got a few thousand views on it, and a few people have come out of the woodwork and said, "Oh, where have you been?" kind of thing. So the engagement is really important. You will build a fan base of people there. You do have to keep on top of it. if you get into it. So a couple of things about engagement. I think actually most of my videos have done well because I comment. I reply to every single comment. This is actually a scroll from, as you can see, from one of my videos. And I reply to almost every comment, even on the videos that go viral and get thousands and thousands of comments. In the early days, I was replying to every single comment because it really did help the channel to boost. A few things you can do to drive engagement. There's quite a few bullets here, so take a screenshot of this, and I will just explain each point very briefly. Create content that engages. So ask questions, talk about things that no one else is talking about, talk about things that everyone else is talking about, but from a different perspective. Ask questions all day long, that will get engagement. Tell people to comment, which is what I do with mine, that drives engagement. Ask for saves and shares. I don't really like doing that. I think it's just my own issues, but other people do it and they get loads of saves and shares. Save this for later, or I'm about to show you a 3-point system. You might want to save this for later. People just do as they're told. People are very compliant on these platforms, by the way, especially if you get good at the videos and you point to where the buttons are because you know where they are. But you'll kind of see that happening as you get into it. Definitely reply to comments, something I still do. I did last night. Possibly reply with keywords. I think the comment section, there's words in there. And this is a theory I have, not proven, that maybe the words that are in the comments actually help the algorithm understand what that video is about. So I tend to reply with things like, how long have you been sober, for example. Reply with questions. If someone asks you a question, say, hey, it's a really interesting point. What do you think? And they'll come back and ask more. You'll get more engagement in there as well. And you can reply to comments with video. So someone can ask you a question on your video, you can press and hold and create a whole nother video. That really helps drive traffic to the new video, because if this video is doing quite well, you drive traffic to it. And it's also a really great way of engaging. It's very unique to TikTok as well. And also, I think it's because we're bloody nosy. If you reply to a video, to a comment on one of your videos, and it's kind of controversial question, and you think, oh, what's going on? You know, it's kind of kicking off on TikTok. That question sits on the screen and you can see it. If you use that as your cover photo, it definitely drives more people to come to it. So lots of creators will start the video going, I've just had this comment and it's really puzzled me, or I don't always get asked this question, so I thought I'd answer it, or this really annoyed me, so I thought I'd do a video on it. That kind of thing gets people engaged at the start. So you're always trying to get their attention. I know it sounds a bit clickbaity, because it is, but that's kind of the world that we're in there. Claudia has asked a really good question. How often do you recommend posting stuff per week? TikTok is super fast paced. So if you can come up with content, I was doing it daily at one point, quite tiring. 3 to 4 times a week is fine. If you can do more, then do more. I think that's it's a really good it's a good platform to just try stuff. Instagram is a bit more shiny and you need it to be kind of organized and stuff. But I would be, if you can, just create as much content as possible, play with it and try it. You can't break it. I did say to Tim I wouldn't say that, because last time I said that someone did break the internet, but you kind of can't break TikTok. And Nicola, you can schedule stuff. But not in TikTok app. You'll have to use other scheduling tools. And if you do schedule, this is a rule for all social media. If you schedule content from other apps, it will diminish the reach, not dramatically, but it won't be as good as just posting it live. And I love Gabby's question as well. I'm just going to answer before we go to the next section. Do you recommend trying out the passion project? Yeah, because there's no risk, is there? I had nothing to sell. It didn't really matter. And then I've been able to apply it to webinars like this and clients. And in some respect, our own TikTok channel, which we don't really use. Most of my business comes from LinkedIn. That's our business case for it. Someone asked earlier. But that said, I can apply all of the things I've learned by mucking around to our business itself. Just going to wrap up. Then I've got a few TikTok tips for you, and then I'll go to questions. I know that Kezzy's been keeping an eye on for me. Search engine optimization matters. Think about how people search on Google, because they're searching like it on TikTok, and the videos are ranked and ordered in that way. Please have a niche and a thing. Like, what's your niche and how do you present that video? Think about that meditation guy, and rather than just saying, hey, why don't we just have a meditation, like, he's quite abrupt and he tells you to stop scrolling and gets you to sit down. That's what he does. He says, shut the up and sit down. That's what he says. And he gets you to sit down, and it really gets your attention. So check him out. That's his niche and his thing. You definitely need a kind of semi-script what am I going to cover? What am I going to say at the end? And a bit of a hook. You can do loads of editing in the app. So my tip for creating content is just to create it and then go back in and chop it up afterwards within the app. It's really easy to do. Just have a play with it. But you want it to be short and sharp. But initially, it's easier to cut from larger pieces of content. So I often just create video and then chop it down afterwards. Think about the content. Like, what content does your ideal customer need? I say this a lot with social media. Where is social media in your sales pipeline? For me, it's people checking us out when they found us, because I work B2B. Generally speaking, people find us via referrals, networking, exhibitions, and other stuff. They do find us directly straight from the top of social media, but it is rare. My social media supports how I get business elsewhere. So I know this. So I create content that matches the part of the conversation or the journey we're on to answer the questions I get asked by new people checking us out. So I don't go too detailed. I don't go to kind of lead generation. I know where my audience come into my social media. So if you do know that, then try and find content that matches where your social media sits in the pipeline. A bit technical, sorry about that. But that's kind of what I think about my social media. What purpose does it serve? Sounds are important. You can have no sounds, trending sounds, sounds that match. Captions, subtitles, 100%, but engaging on videos absolutely help my videos do well. A few tips, questions that I'm probably going to get asked in a minute, actually. So in fact, I'm going to leave those. I think most people have answered these 3 questions here. So I'll leave those off. And I think I will now go to questions, because I've covered those in the questions. Yeah, so if Kezzy is around, she can ask me the questions, or I can find them on here. Then I'll jump to the Q&A. I'm just going to pick up Millie's comment whilst I wait for Kezzy with the questions. But what about no speaking content, so like photos, CapCut, template style? Absolutely. If it's got text on it, there is a creator I follow on Instagram. It's completely faceless. You might have heard of this faceless accounts. And there's someone on Instagram that just creates quotes, very short 5-second videos. They always do well. They get millions of views. And it has been very good for his business. He's got a download on there, it goes into his sales pipeline, and he sells off the back of it. But the content he puts out absolutely resonates with the people, and there's no speaking, there's no text on it. Paul's asked a good question. Does the age of the creator impact engagement? So TikTok perceptions applies to a certain age demographic. It does, but that's why I said at the beginning that it shifted in 2020. It was very much a young audience, but it's absolutely shifted now to a younger audience. So I would try it and see. I can't speak to all the audiences that are here because I don't know.
Hi, Todd.
Hey,
I've just got a couple of those questions. If you want me to,
yeah, go for it. Yeah, ask me interview style, and I'll do my best to answer.
Oh, I need a microphone. So one of the first ones was, how much would you spend on advertising on TikTok for a startup or to create awareness?
Difficult question to answer, because it's about, well, how many people do you want to reach and things. But generally speaking, certainly speaking from Facebook ads, which we do a lot, £300 to £400 a month is usually a good starting point. But what I always say about promoting videos is promote videos that have already done well, and ignore what the system tells you, because you'll often get told by Facebook and TikTok, hey, this video is doing really, really well. When you look at it, it's like, it's not really doing well compared to this video. Why have you said that? So I'm always a bit skeptical of those little pop-ups. But just to start with, use a little bit of it. I think what doesn't work on paid advertising on TikTok is out and out adverts, unless you're a big brand. Because when you're on social media, you're not there to buy anything. You go to Google to buy stuff. I always buy TikTok, and I always buy things from social media, but it's not why I go there. So it works, but I think you have to keep remembering, whether you pay or whether you're organic, you're still on social media, and people aren't there to buy from you. So it's about building awareness.
And on that same topic, it's a different question, but can you sell subscriptions on it or just products on TikTok?
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff in there. You can go live and you can earn money from it. There's some people are literally making a living out of going live on there. You can have a link once you get to, I think it's 10,000 followers now. So you do need followers for some of the stuff. So you can have a link in there, Linktree, much like Instagram. But yeah, you can have a subscription where people follow you. There's there's the thing in there called creator mode where you can have different options on there. So have a play around with it. Most of this stuff is unlocked at sort of 2,000 followers, 6,000, 10,000. So to start with, you've got to go in the trenches and get it working for you.
That was another question I was going to follow on with. Would it be wise for businesses to follow a lot of accounts before they started their own videos or their own
Well,
content?
TikTok's totally different to the other channels, and I'm really fascinated by TikTok. I mean, TikTok's impacted YouTube, one of the biggest platforms out there, and YouTube now created YouTube Shorts because it knows, oh, people like doing this on their phone and watching really short videos from people they don't actually connect with. So YouTube Shorts is a great way of finding new channels. So on that point, on TikTok, you don't really need followers. You do for getting and unlocking these things, but you can reach millions of people, which I did in the early days with hardly any followers. When you do reach millions of people, you get followers anyway. So you're actually better off creating content that would perfectly land with your ideal audience, and they will then find you and follow you. So if you've got a product or a service and you know your audience, create content for that audience, and they'll find your videos in the timeline.
And this is kind of I guess it's a mixed question. How long would you spend on creating the content first? And then is there a length, maximum, minimum that you would recommend?
Constantly changing answer. My most popular videos in the past have been 60 seconds or around that time, but TikTok is trying to go longer. So most of my videos, 2.5, 3 minutes, which gives you a little bit more time to create the content, but then you've got to be really tight with your hook and your mini hooks and keeping people engaged. Some creators are doing long form, some are doing short form. Try and test it. It's always changing. TikTok are threatening to do 30-minute videos. It really isn't the place for it. I don't think people are watching 30-minute videos on there. That's where you go for YouTube. I have watched 90-minute YouTube videos, for example, but I went there to do that. So in terms of times, I think trial different things and see what works. TikTok are very, very good in the analytics of telling you what's working and encouraging you to do more of certain things and then telling you what they're pushing, unlike the other platforms. It's very transparent.
Excellent. We had a specific question. Do you have any tips for a 5-star hotel that wants to create content but without doing like a full tour of the venue?
Yeah, you could do like a point of view video. These are really popular online. So point of view, arrive at the hotel and you're greeted with a smile. Or point of view, it's raining, but we've got 3 umbrellas. Or point of view, you don't know where to go in the city, but our front of house knows everything about it because they live there. Or point of view, you land at your hotel after a long trip and this is your view and you show the room. And everyone's got that feeling when they open the hotel door. And you should know this in hotels, especially a 5-star one. Where you open the door and you go, please be good. And you open the door. I just don't want to speak to anyone. I just want to sit on the bed. And there it is. And it's that view. And so you could kind of show that kind of feeling you get. If you can understand how people feel, and you understand how your customers feel, and you can actually show the experience, I think that's what it's all about. There are loads of beautiful moments in hotels that just work. So we actually look after Facebook ads for a hotel, and they're dog friendly. And like, it's just a given for us. Just put a dog on there. Works a treat every time.
I've done that. I've gone onto the websites just from the video and be like, ooh, I could do this too. And then they sold out.
Yeah.
There was quite an important question. Safeguarding for businesses against trolls and bullying, if that's come up.
Yeah, it has. I talk about quitting drinking, and I'm quite passionate about it. And well, most people drink. There's nothing wrong with it, really. Well, there is, but there isn't. I'm stuck in a mind here. I get comments, people saying you could still work out and be healthy and drink. Fine, you can still do this. What you've just said is wrong, and I can't try and find data from the internet and stuff. People will say things about you on the internet, and I've said this for 10 years now. I'm very opinionated on my social media, and I say it like it is. It's our brand, no bull, just beef. I say it like it is. It irritates people, but the amount of comments I get are minute. The only caveat to that is when I work with councils, they definitely get trolled. There is nothing they can do. Their bins are going to be late. There's going to be an election. There's going to be a roadworks. And they deal with it by not commenting, which I disagree with, but I kind of understand why they're doing it. But in terms of businesses and trolling, if you have to block them, I actually find when you get negative comments, they can be great posts, especially on TikTok. Press and hold, reply to the video. So I had someone have a right go at me once, forget what they say now. It wasn't important, so it's gone out of my head. And I replied to it, did a video, and the amount of support I got in that video, that person never came back. And I got very few negative comments after it, because most people are good people. They are. They are good people. And I know on the internet, keyboard warriors, a bit more braver, but it's a fear that may happen, but it's rarely going to happen as often as you think it is.
Okay, great, thank you. Can businesses use trending audio without copyright issues?
Yes, as long as you do it on the platform itself. So on TikTok, you can use it. There is an issue, and there was an issue recently where one of the big music companies, they removed their license from TikTok, affected quite a lot of videos. They gave the option to replace it with different audio, fine. But yeah, all of the audio you use on TikTok, you can just use generic audio in there, or you select it from there. You can't add your own music to it because then music licenses. So I don't technically know how it works, but I'm assuming behind the music there's kind of metadata that says whether it's TikTok or Instagram. So if you copy a video from Instagram with music on it, whack it on TikTok, probably won't work.
I have a question as well, actually. I've just thought about, so there's the free version. Is there a paid version of TikTok?
Other than advertising, no, there's two types of, and I don't technically know what these are because Nicole helped me set mine up, but there's like personal and professional. Like Instagram, there's kind of two versions of it. It kind of affects some of the capabilities you've got on there. Turning on things like creator mode gives you access to different things, but essentially it's a free platform. You are the product, you're driving traffic to it. So paying for sponsorship absolutely boosts your followers and everything else. There is always this conspiracy theory out there that once you boost content on any platforms, your organic reach bombs and you never get it there again. But I've never actually paid to sponsor any of my videos on TikTok. I've got 37,000 followers and I've had millions and millions and millions of views. And as I said, if I was a sobriety coach, I'd have had hundreds of leads that I could have converted by now.
I think you'll have more followers after this video as well. So we had a question which is quite interesting. When is not the time to use TikTok? Maybe you've seen something that you...
Yeah, when you're pissed off and angry, when you want to chat, I mean, it might work for Piers Morgan. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Take a breath and do it. The other time, actually, more seriously, when it's not to do a TikTok video is because you've been told you've got to do a video every day, so you're doing it, because those videos are crap. There's no energy in them, there's no emotion, there's no intention behind them, and they don't land. No one really cares about it. Always do them when you feel like, I've got to share this. Like that passion and emotion might sound a bit woo-woo, but I think it travels through the internet and lands on the other side. People can tell. There's a content creator I follow on TikTok, and I forget his name. If it comes up, I will credit him. But he says there's this kind of energetic thing on TikTok that when you speak with passion and enthusiasm and energy, it's infectious and people pick up on it and they're more likely to watch your videos and stick with your videos. Whereas if you say, hi, I just thought I'd hop on, and oh God, I've got to do a TikTok video. Oh Christ. Or you do that weird thing where you go to an exhibition and take a photo, got put on LinkedIn, and you've got all those people just stood there like that. We've all been there. We've all been there. Those videos are crap, they're rubbish, because those people don't want to be in those pictures or videos. So think about that with your TikTok. Do it when you want to do it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I watch a chef who sings his things, and he laughs throughout. It's, he's obviously rehearsed it and had a go, but he laughs and you just think it's hilarious because, well, he's enjoying it and it's a passion. So this is the last question from the chat, I think, unless I have missed any, which I may have.
There's loads for me, and I mean, if you want to download them and put them somewhere, I'm happy to answer them. There's quite a lot come through there that we haven't seen, but
I've gone through, but I think there might be about 5 or 6 that I haven't seen.
Okay, cool.
Is there a way to use TikTok for business for international markets?
Yeah, I mean, it's an international platform. I think if you're going to do that, consider the hashtags you're using. You can put location targeting on there, so you can check in at certain places. That will help your videos appear in different places around the world. So if I'm more likely to be watching videos in Arizona, and you've checked your video in Arizona, likely that it will appear there. If you're going to do that, you've got to think about how they speak over there, what language they use in terms of tone and style. Types of things are trending there because they're different across different parts of the world. But yeah, absolutely, it is. I mean, I've checked the analytics on mine. Most of my followers are from the UK, but I very much speak about pubs, not bars. And I very much talk about beer and not ale or lager or whatever they drink over there. So I do have an American following, but it doesn't resonate with them anywhere near as much because I'm a Brit talking about British stuff and British culture, which is one of the things I talk about a lot with my channel, because there's this culture in the UK of drinking. So I talk about that. It attracts more of those people. So think about the kind of culture, tonality, that sort of stuff. And yeah, there's no reason why it wouldn't work globally.
Right, I'm just going to read these out as I go. So you've answered that one about how often, what time of day or days would you think would be popular to post, or
Yeah, I mean, same kind of rules apply to other social media channels, really. As I said at the top, lots of this advice applies to all social. Think about when most people are live, or when they've got time. So the evenings are usually a hot time, but the lifetime of a TikTok video is years. Like I've still got comments on videos I posted a year ago, so it doesn't really matter what time I posted it. But most of the times when people are online, at those kind of peak evening times, once you get creating content, you'll actually get the answers to that question, because TikTok will tell you when most of your audience are online. But bear in mind that 80% of your views will come from people that don't connect with you. So you'll get an idea as you go through, but general rule of thumb, and it isn't want to be textbook answers, but it is the evening I think works best.
We've had another question. Do you think that TikTok is the right platform for a company selling exclusively to professionals and not the public? Would that be the right place to be?
It might be. Or what you could do is practice all of your stuff on TikTok where it doesn't matter, like someone said earlier, and then take the stuff that really works and put it on LinkedIn. So I follow an accountant on LinkedIn. Her name's Jerry Williams. Go and check her out on LinkedIn. And she's very much trailblazing LinkedIn. She's done a very, very good job of doing slightly different content. But she comes from TikTok, like as in she didn't born there, but she created her content on TikTok. She knows what works and gets people's attention, and she's applied it in a kind of LinkedIn way on LinkedIn. So you might find that TikTok's just kind of a scrapbook where you learn. But that said, there's all sorts of stuff happening over on TikTok. There's all manner of topics and things. So I wouldn't rule it out.
Fabulous, thank you. Do you recommend using trendy hashtags or personalized, or a mix of both?
Good question. I would use a few trending ones and then some more specific ones. So I use the three that I always use, and then I try and use some that relate to it. So in January, I did a whole series on dry January. So I used the same three hashtags I always use, and then I put hashtag dry January, and I think I used dry January 2024, whatever the one was that most people used. I've never really been a fan of using your own hashtag. So I wouldn't hashtag spaghetti agency, because like no one really cares, and it doesn't really do anything for your video. And ultimately hashtags are out there to find new people. You could argue that if you tag every single one of your videos with spaghetti agency or whatever your business is, it links them all together, but they're linked on your profile anyway, so it's kind of a waste of a hashtag.
Fabulous. You've been asked for your TikTok handle.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, let me screenshot that. Not screenshot. Let me share it on the screen. I meant to do that near the end. There you go. You can scan the QR code. That's me TikTok.
There you go. I'll give everybody a little minute to do that. And I don't know if we've got time for one more.
Great questions, by the way. Really, really good group.
Yes, they're coming in thick and fast. And I literally have one.
Jerry Williams is with a J to Neil.
Oh, fabulous. How do you ensure making good content? And that'll be, unfortunately, our last question. I mean, that's a big question.
It's a big question, but work out what's good for your audience. So firstly, research who your audience are. And like I said just now, where are they at? Where does social media sit in the pipeline? What kind of conversation should you be having in that time? Maybe they're just getting to know you. So think about that kind of stuff. And then get good at practicing and trialing it, and then spot the videos that do well and see if they do well for the right reasons, like I did with mine, and break it down and go, right, there's my formula. That's what works for me. There are a few things that absolutely make a good video. Like I said before, the hook at the beginning 100% keeps your video. Keeping a good pattern interrupts throughout it, a good tempo throughout it, changing the backgrounds, having things of interest in the video, keep people on board. But a good video gets attention and keeps attention, and that's what you've got to work at. And
I suppose passion, get that passion in, which you speak with beautifully.
Thank you very much. It's important. Yeah, if you're not passionate about your business, then quit. That's my rule. Just do something else. Sometimes I do feel like that, but
it reads. It reads, and especially if you're going through, if you're scrolling and you can see somebody comes on and goes, hi, you go, beep, gone, straight away.
Exactly.
Have you got any last 1 minute comments that you want to say, Todd, or are you done?
Try it. You like TikTok. If you're an Instagrammer, TikTok is a great place to abuse all of your ideas and just see what works, because the algorithm on there is very free, very loose, very, very rewarding. It will throw it out to an audience you've never met before. It's a good test, maybe a harsh test, but you'll learn some stuff. And what I like to do is take the learnings from that and go, well, that type of thing works. And then you could maybe use it on your Instagram as well, but just try it. The best thing you can do in house homework is to download TikTok. Bear in mind the timeline at the moment will be nonsense if you've never used it, and just start using it, looking through, seeing what's happening, and try and try and listen to some of the things I've said today and go, oh, that's what he was talking about. There's the hook. That's kept my attention. And one final thing I always say about social media, whenever you stop scrolling on something, ask yourself why you stopped scrolling on something, because that will give you so many learnings on what makes social media work.
I think that is absolutely well said and a great point to finish on. So thank you so much, Todd. It's been absolutely brilliant and so informative, and a load of stuff that I didn't know. And I'm on TikTok a lot. So there you go. And also everybody out there, thank you so much for joining us. And if you have enjoyed today, please do give us a Trustpilot review, because we really appreciate it. Other than that, that's it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.